Jocko, the Galactic Patrolman, has arrived on Dragon Ball Super Episode 20. Jocko Kara no Keikoku, Semari Kuru Furiza no Seni no Henshitachi, which translates to a warning from Jocko. Frieza and 1,000 soldiers are fast approaching. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I've got a lot of issues here with this. Before I go any further with the review, I just want to say that the pacing for the Resurrection F, or the Revival of F arc so far, has been really, really bad. It's literally the opposite of the Battle of Gods arc. The Battle of Gods arc pretty much took the Battle of Gods movie and shrunk it, or not shrunk it, expanded it from like a 90-minute movie to literally like 14 episodes or so. 12 if you take away the first 2 episodes. So 12 to 14 episodes. With Revival of F, it's so much faster that it's almost jarring. Like, guys, so much stuff happened in this episode that it was very, very difficult to keep up. They scrunched the movie. I didn't think it was really possible, but they actually scrunched the movie down, or at least it felt like it was scrunched down. In a way, it really wasn't as far as time was, but the pacing just was very, very jarring because they've been going at a relatively slow pace for this series, and all of a sudden in this episode, we get what appears to be 2 time skips, and we aren't even told by the narrator what the time skips are. Like, this is, I gotta be honest with you guys, this is inexcusable bullshit. Look, I love Dragon Ball, and Dragon Ball Super is fun as hell to watch, and I'm really looking forward to what's coming. But these are issues that shouldn't even be issues at this point. This company, Toei, has done anime and television for fucking 50, 60 years, maybe even more than that. They should have this figured out by now. It pisses me off. So, let's talk about the episode. The first part of the episode is basically Frieza on his ship, just like in the film. There's really no differences here with the exception of one that I'm going to get, well, 2 that I'm going to get to. Frieza's back to life. Tagoma tells him that, Sorbet introduces Tagoma. Sashimi says that they are on the level of Dodoria and Zarbon, which we already heard. However, the first major difference is that Frieza does not kill Tagoma. Now, those of you who have been keeping up with the community in the last few weeks, you know that there's a big plan for Tagoma in this arc that will differ greatly from the movie, something involving Captain Ginyu. We're not exactly sure of what that is, but there's something going on with Tagoma in the battle. In fact, if you look at the next episode preview for this episode, you see him there with Frieza's army. So I guess the 1,001 soldiers this time? I don't know. Or maybe it's 1,000 soldiers plus Sorbet, Tagoma, Sashimi, and Frieza. I don't know. But maybe it's 1,001. I think it would have been cool if they would have called it 1,001. That would have been awesome. So a lot of the same lines are repeated. Frieza talks about how his father told him to avoid Majin Buu and Hakaishi and Birisu, God of Destruction Beerus. But the one line that was removed, which we all have talked about in the community, and those of you who saw Resurrection F, you know about it, the 1.3 million line. That's right, folks. Frieza saying he can achieve a power level of 1.3 million is gone, and I'm very happy about that. This is the most positive change I can think of that they have done in this version. Now, instead of killing Tagoma, what he did was he just shot little holes in him, and rather than blowing up the ship to test his power, he just tortured Tagoma. So Tagoma lives, like I said. Then we cut to Goku and Vegeta training with Whis, and there's that scene from last week's next episode preview where they collide and a blue aura hits, and Whis is like, what the fuck? And they're all like, surprised at it. Of course, this is the tease for SS God SS or SS Blue, which is coming very soon. We did not see Goku and Vegeta unlock these forms in this episode, and we may not see it until the fight, in which I believe they'll do a flashback. Just like in the film, Beerus wakes up with his pajamas on, tired, groggy. He sneezes and blows up a planet. Goku and Vegeta are both impressed. So that's the same thing as in the movie. Back on Earth, Jocko has arrived, and of course, like you guys saw in the next episode preview, Jocko has some interactions with Goten and Trunks. I think it's pretty cool, actually, what happens here. Goten and Trunks are enamored with Jocko, and they start playing around with his ship, which Jocko's not too pleased about. Jocko runs into Bulma, who he, of course, if those of you who don't know, I have a video on my channel. Look up these 2 videos on my channel. Who is Jocko, the Galactic Patrolman, and who is Tights? They will explain this if you do not know. And I would highly recommend that you go out and get yourself a copy of Jocko the Galactic Patrolman, the manga. It's not very expensive. It's about $12 on eBay, maybe even cheaper than that now. You need to get yourself a copy of this if you're a Dragon Ball fan. It must be in your collection. Trust me. So, as I was saying, Jocko is talking to Bulma about Frieza. Bulma says, oh, well, Trunks killed Frieza. And Jocko's like, Trunks, a kid? And he looks at, of course, Trunks in the ship. And Bulma has to explain that no, that it was Trunks from the future who came back in a time machine that she built, which if you've read Jocko, you know that time travel is a big no-no. So Jocko's none too happy about that, but he's also none too happy at the fact that the Saiyans, or the Saiyans in the dub, have survived Planet Vegeta. Again, if you read Jocko, you would know this. The problem with Toei, another issue I have with this episode, is that now that they have time to expand upon this Jocko story, and to expand upon the movie, they didn't even give us a flashback. Like, couldn't they have given us a flashback of the Jocko manga in the anime and showed us what happened? These little things like knowing that Jocko's against time travel, knowing that who Tights is, knowing that Jocko's mission was to stop Baby Goku from coming to Earth and he failed it. When if you read the manga, you know. But the problem is the vast majority, of Dragon Ball fans have not read that manga, especially in North America. It wasn't advertised on television. You just kind of had to know it was there. So people watching this when the dub eventually airs in this country are going to be a little bit confused because they're not going to know. They're not going to know that Jocko is, the whole Jocko story, they're not going to know. There is a funny line where Goten and Trunks think that Jocko's wearing a mask, that he's just a grade schooler. That was kind of cool as well. So moving on, Jocko warns Bulma about Frieza, shows her the art, the drawing that was in the movie. Of course, Bulma uses her strawberry parfait to call Whis, just like in the movie. Again, this is moving really, really fast. I expected a little bit slower development. Come on with the pacing, folks. It's too slow, now it's too fast. But let's move on. We go to Krillin, who gets a phone call from Bulma. He's in his cop uniform. Bulma tells him about Frieza. 18 gets him his old gi and gives him a haircut, just like in the movie. Krillin, just like in the film, tells 18, I'm not worried because Boo and Gohan will be there, which is funny because Gohan's a joke at this point and Boo's probably not going to be there. Then he gets his head shaved, so that's good. And then we just cut to Krillin carrying Roshi, just like in the movie. We didn't see the scene where Gohan and Piccolo get together. We didn't see that. I expected to see that. We didn't have Bulma contact them all. Like nothing. Like I was expecting them to really expand upon this movie and show these things and show how, everybody got together. Because it's just, you have time now. You have time to do it. And they aren't doing it. The pacing is way too fucking fast. Slow it down. It's like you took forever with the fucking Battle of Gods, had a whole fucking episode about fucking rock, paper, scissors, and you can't even take time to actually show shit that I think is important, like Frieza's training. That's another issue I had with this episode. I know somebody in the comment section is going to say, why is it a big deal? It's a big deal because you're bringing back a villain who hasn't been relevant in several years. And I don't give a fuck if it was a movie first. We're supposed to watch this before we see the movie or as if the movie doesn't exist. It's its own timeline, right? You're bringing back a villain that has not been relevant and cannot fuck with anybody on this team. And your job as a writer, like I've said before, is to educate the audience and show them why we are supposed to be afraid of Frieza. Frieza's a joke at this point, right? He's Frieza. They've been through Cell, they've been through Boo, they've been through Beerus. Why is Frieza a big deal? As a writer, as a storyteller, you need to educate your audience on that. It's bullshit. It pisses me off. I wanted to see the training. But I'm not going to get mad about it yet because perhaps they're going to show it in a flashback where Frieza unlocks Golden Frieza. So pretty much the episode ends with everybody arriving in the battlefield. They had this cool little thing where the whole screen went purple. They sense Frieza. They cut to space. We see Frieza's ship arriving with Sorbet, with Sashimi, and Tagoma, and that's where the episode ends. Next week, of course, there's the big rumble's going to happen, just like in the film. Jocko arrives. I don't see Goten and Trunks there, and I don't see Boo. So those of you who are waiting for Goten, Trunks, and Boo to be a part of the TV version of the fight, it's probably not happening. I don't see them there. Are they hiding it from us? I don't know, but I don't see them there, and that's certainly not a good omen. I wanted this version of the events to be different. Roshi's there. I wanted Boo. I wanted all these guys. I even wanted 18, and it's the exact same shit. It's like they changed a lot of Battle of Gods. They slowed it down. Then they kept this exactly the same. I'm not happy with it. I'm hoping that the Goku versus Frieza fight that's coming up will be better than the one in the movie. I do think the fight scenes will probably end up being better in this version, but it's still just so much potential. They had to tell this story right, and they're dropping the ball. So I was not a fan of this week's episode. I love Jocko. I'm very happy that Jocko's there. I want to see more with Jocko, but I was not a fan of this episode. It's just, I expected more. It's not that it sucked or anything, that it really irritated me. I just expected more. Let me know what you think below. Of course, like we said, next week the big rumble happens, so I guess we'll figure everything out then. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching my review. I'll catch you guys down the road.